Coming out of high school, Paige Bueckers was viewed as the next great women's basketball player. She was on the cover of Slam magazine in her high school jersey, and it called her the most electrifying high school player in the world. It felt reminiscent of LeBron James, and she was essentially the chosen one of women's hoops. She committed to UConn, which made sense. They were the powerhouse of women's college basketball, and she was chosen as the next face of the program. She lived up to it too, being named the National Player of the Year as a freshman, the first player to do so. But she would battle injuries for the next 2 seasons, playing 17 games as a sophomore and none as a junior. That time off would allow another player in her class, Caitlin Clark, to completely take over the sport. She averaged 27 points per game as a sophomore, then 28 as a junior, winning her own National Player of the Year in the process. She carried them to a national title game as well, gaining more attention for the women's college game than ever before with her Steph Curry-esque play style. But Bueckers was back in 2024, and both had their best seasons yet. Paige averaged 22 points per game on some of the best efficiency in the country, and along with 2024 All-American Aaliyah Edwards, helped lead UConn back to the Final Four. On the other hand, Clark averaged an absurd 32 points per game, breaking the NCAA's all-time scoring record for her career, men's or women's. She was named the National Player of the Year for the second straight season, and you could argue it should have been 3. Her 41-point revenge game against LSU in the Elite Eight earned Iowa their spot in the Final Four. And now we have an epic duel between the 2 biggest superstars in the sport, a matchup that we should have already seen had it not been for Paige's injuries. Clark has started to be referred to as the GOAT, meaning greatest of all time, for women's college hoops, and there's a real debate for it. This one should be personal for Clark as well, as when they pursued and landed Bueckers, they didn't go after Clark at all, despite the fact that UConn was her dream school. Now we have the GOAT versus the chosen one in the Final Four, and it should break every record for viewers and go down as an instant classic, no matter who wins. Now let's take a deeper look. Before we get into one of the greatest matchups in NCAA tournament history, if you enjoy my content and watch a few videos of mine, think about subscribing. 96% of my viewers are actually not subscribed, so if you're watching before and enjoy the content, drop a sub and comment down below. It really helps the channel. Caitlin Clark was special, but Paige Bueckers was the chosen one. Back then, Clark held the 4th spot among the nation's high school players. Meanwhile, Bueckers claimed the pinnacle, swiftly becoming the emblem of collegiate basketball during her debut season at UConn. She made history as the first female freshman to secure National Player of the Year accolades, guiding the Huskies to the Final Four following a decisive victory over Iowa and Clark in the Sweet 16. During their sophomore year, Bueckers faced injuries, yet managed to reach the national title game, while Clark's outstanding season concluded with a surprising upset in the second round on Iowa's home court. It wasn't until Bueckers suffered a torn ACL, forcing her to miss the entirety of last season, that Clark truly captured the nation's spotlight. The anticipation for Friday's showdown between college basketball's premier athletes, staged on the grandest platform amidst the sport's peak of popularity, is only amplified by hypotheticals surrounding Bueckers' time missed with injuries. Number 1 Iowa clashes with number 3 UConn in the marquee matchup of the Final Four. Fresh off her extraordinary 41-point, 12-assist spectacle that toppled the reigning champions, Clark is poised for another stellar performance. Meanwhile, Bueckers has maintained her dominance throughout the NCAA tournament as well, most recently delivering a formidable stat line of 28 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks in a victory over number 1 ranked USC. When asked if they're planning to stop Clark, Gino Auriemma said this: "We don't plan on stopping her. I tried calling all the other coaches that have stopped her, and none of them have answered the phone. We're going to have to find a different way to win than stopping Caitlin Clark." It didn't have to be this way. Clark nurtured aspirations of joining Auriemma's team, inspired by the triumphs of her idol Maya Moore, at what she considered the coolest place on earth. However, despite her hopes, the UConn coach never extended an offer to Clark. Auriemma had already found the successor to lead the charge for the sport's most formidable program. It proved simpler to shine at Iowa, a team that hadn't reached the Final Four since 1993. The program afforded Clark ample on-court liberty, entrusting her with significant responsibilities that allowed her to set numerous records and elevate the sport. 2 years back, Bueckers and UConn captivated 4.85 million TV viewers in the national title game, marking the highest rating in 18 years. Last season, though, a record-breaking 9.9 million tuned in to witness LSU triumph over Iowa for the championship. This week, Clark and Angel Reese captivated an audience of 12.3 million viewers during the Elite Eight. Now emerges a long-anticipated dream clash, born from years of anticipation. A showdown between Midwestern AAU rivals, former Team USA teammates, and All-American honorees. Their legacies and supremacy will be defined by a mere 40 minutes on the court, and I can't wait to see it. Thanks for watching. I'm Herm. Have a good one.